So one of the last things we have to do for this anniversary is, of course, talk about the unit of choice ticket, the equipment ticket, and the true weapon ticket. And we're going to do this real simple, like we're just going to do a straight live demonstration of me going through it. You get a 4-star equip ticket, you get a 5-star true weapon, and then of course the unit of choice. So the thing is here with the 4, 5, and not the true weapon, but the 4 and 5-star equips don't really ever change for global. So at the 4-star, pretty much if you're brand new to the game, one of the best equips to grab is just Keon here. Keon is a really strong Archgen item, and with you being a newer player, of course you don't have any Archgen items. It's 4-star support, very easy to slot into your teams, really high arts per second on this thing, and I could give you more of the details, but to be honest, it doesn't even matter. You could also pick up a Terrace Conjunction if you're going through Arena. Terrace Conjunction gives you 100% crit rate. You also could use it to nuke as well, but you rarely ever use it for that nowadays. But early on, you know, you may need it for that. After that, if you're looking for a heal equip, Flower Cane, really good. I wonder why it's called Flower Cane. Don't even look like a flower. I guess it's supposed to be like a rose or something. Oh, I just now realized Flower Cane's like a sword that like comes out of a cane. Oh, I've never noticed this before. Well, there's some other good stuff in here. For example, if you're light nuking a lot, you could get Air Gun. Air Gun's really strong as a 4-star magic just to buff up everybody's damage a little bit more. The very last thing that you may want to select would actually probably be the Air Gun, but you'll probably put the defense equips over it because you can select any of the elemental ones. I think it's the dark one here or the light one. I mean, really just pick what you want for 4-star. It's not really too much thought to be put into it. For the base 5 stars, you can see I have 2 here because I just didn't even select one last year. And I don't even think I'm gonna select one this year because yeah, most of them are pretty garbage. If I were to select any from this list, Chrono Dominator, Letter Bag. These 2 items, insanely good. Letter Bag I think is a little bit stronger than Chrono though, just because Letter Bag gives you crit rate plus damage, while Chrono only gives you damage. However, both really good, not only just for arena, but any type of nuking. As for the heal equips, some people would recommend Hime here. I'm gonna be honest with you, this thing's garbage. For defense equips, it gets kind of interesting though because we have a lot of good ones. The Divine Robe is really good. This gives you Earth Resist. The Magic Armor is the same way. It gives you Dark Resist. And then you have the Divine Armor, which gives you Light Resist. Unfortunately, the rest is kind of like whatever. Like C-Band is pretty good, but it's a single target item instead of being AoE. I would say that if you're a newer player and you're getting into the game, you're probably gonna be prioritizing Chrono or Letter Bag. And then after this point, the thing that you'll probably be prioritizing is one of these defense equips. Finally, though, we can get onto the spice, the true weapons. Because there's a lot of good true weapons in here. There are a lot of good true weapons and a lot of top tier ones. There's a few items that I would recommend, and I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't think you go wrong with any of them. However, I will say this. If you are going to be selecting a character from the unit choice pool over here, and you personally want to get their true weapon, then it's probably in here. So that may be a route that you take, which I don't think that's necessarily bad as long as you pick like a good character, of course. But I'm going to tell you the hotness right now. Whatever you do, don't buy Reyes' true weapon. I didn't do that. I would say that one of the best items that you can get on this entire list is Izanagi. Not only can you live out your Persona dreams, you can also play Grand Summoners with one of the best Archgen items in the entire game. This thing gives you tons of art gauge. It's on a 10-second cooldown. It gives you equipment CT 15% down. Another one, Exceeds X. A magic item that gives you art gauge and gives you arts damage. And of course, the buff for this is insane, 50%. And if you guys haven't seen any of my videos on pretty much any magic attacker that has a magic slot, I'm running True Exceeds X just because it's that good of an item. It's literally best in slot. And then if none of those interest you, the next 2 things that I'd actually recommend getting would be something like True Flambardo. True Flambardo, AoE defense item, good defense resist. It's for the Goro Sandstone, so if you ever do get Sandstone, you're absolutely going to be running this on a majority of the time. But yeah, this is like one of the best defense items in the game. You can run it on practically anybody. Some other good runner-ups at that point would be like stuff like True Griffin. This is Norn's true weapon, very good paralysis item. Alvina's true weapon, which is a very good freeze resist down item. True Viperia, which is a good earth resist down item if you are earth nuking or dealing any type of damage with earth units. True Saint Blaze, AoE 40% water damage up. True Knight's Glow, just an insanely good breaking item. As for everything after that point, it's literally up to you. Go wild. So yeah, that's my opinion on that one. A lot of good choices. What am I going to pick? I don't know. I'm probably not going to pick anything. All right, now you know choice ticket. This is where it gets really, really good. So this is going to be kind of overwhelming, especially as a new player. Getting into the game and you see this and you're like, oh my god, who do I pick? I don't want to mess up. Let me say this. If you're brand spanking new to the game, there's one character that you can really never go wrong with unless you already have another version of him or you have another type A Archgener, and that's going to be Finn. Is really good early on because he's a support unit that's able to give you art gauge, as you see here on his true art. art. It's not a lot of art gauge compared to, nowadays standards. And he also can reduce your equipment CT as well on his art. He's kind of like the go-to choice if you don't really know what to pick. You could pick him and you'll probably not go wrong with it. So the next thing that people would actually recommend for a lot of people would be Rim, which she is down here. Rim isn't a bad choice. I could still see why people recommend her, but I think she's fallen off quite a bit, so I wouldn't really recommend her. To be honest, if you don't want Finn, the next unit that I would actually recommend you get is going to be Sandstone, and if you pick up Sandstone, I recommend getting her true weapon as well from the unit of choice ticket. Sandstone's one of the best in-game tanks in the game. She doesn't deal that much damage, but my god, she'll make sure your team doesn't die. Next, we're going to be recommending Freed. I'm sorry, it's just her running joke at this point. After that point, if you were like, OP man, I don't want Sandstone, I don't want Finn, who else can I get? Well, to be honest, another character that you can get that's also a really good support is actually Weaver. Weaver gives you a barrier plus a burst of art gauge on his art, and also has support for other characters in his true art because he's able to increase everybody's crit damage by 50% and also lower the enemy's water resist by 30%. If you already have all the characters I recommend, you're probably a veteran player, have been playing the game for a while, so you already know what you're going to pick. So there's no real point for me to talk about each character individually. At that point, I think it comes down to more, you're going to be picking something a little bit more niche. So for example, if you use light and dark units quite a bit, I actually would recommend Daki because Daki gives you 100% defense ignore and also buffs up light and dark units damage by 60%. If you are using mono earth quite a bit, you could use E-Mirror. However, I want to say that if you have Rudius or any of the other top tier Earth units that came out recently, like Anna, Sakura Miku, Haruto, stuff like that. Pretty much Haruto replaces Sakura Mira, in my opinion, on Mono Earth. So you probably won't be using her if you already have Haruto. Another character, though, that's really good still is Norn. Norn, however, is Type B Archgen. So I don't think she's as good as she was back in her glory days. Still is a fantastic unit, though. One of the best paralysis units in the game, especially going against like Omega Palamecia in the mines. Her true art is still really, really strong, and also the art gauge is very, very good from it. If you need that, if you're not running any other Type B Archgeners, of course you can benefit from her true art. Even if you're not benefiting from a true art gauge wise, you're still going to be increasing your own stats by 50% whenever you use it. This is a weird one because Norn, I want to say, is still like insane. It's just the fact that she's Type B Archgen is the whole reason why this unit is like lower on people's tier list and kind of like dead in the water at the moment, and really only used for Paralyze, because apart from that, her kit is fantastic. You could also grab Ash if you wanted to. A lot of people recommend this guy at times, and I think he's still good as well. He can kind of work in some gimmicky sustain comps. As for if you need a breaker, Platina's on the list. Platina's still one of the best breakers in the game, probably the best breaker in the game. And of course, if you want some water support, Water Malia, pretty good. If you need help clearing the mono dark ruins, Liger is actually pretty solid as well. That's it. I mean, Alvina's good too as like a freeze unit if you need one. You can tell me which Giza you pick down below in the comment section. Hopefully you're able to pick up something that's actually useful to you and not just a dead unit. And hopefully you found this video either entertaining or informative. And that's gonna be it for this one. That's who you select in 2022. If you want to see any of my other Grand Summoner videos, of course, they're going to be popping up on your screen right now. You can click on those and check them out. Oh, and before you leave, don't forget to drink water.